Let's talk about the controversy surrounding Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday and holiday. It's me, TJ from TJ2.com, and let's get into it. Before we do, though, if you could hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you can receive all my videos as soon as they come out, that would be awesome. Alright, so let's talk about the controversy surrounding Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Martin Luther King Jr. Day is celebrated on the third Monday of every January. It's to honor Martin Luther King Jr.'s nonviolent protests trying to get civil rights equality for black people in America. It's known as a day of service, and it was signed into law as a federal holiday in 1983 by Ronald Reagan, our president then. Obviously, there was a lot of opposition in passing this holiday into law. The main arguments were that it was too expensive because remember, it was going to be a federally paid holiday, and that because he was a private citizen, he shouldn't get his own day. There's actually only two other people who have their own national holidays after them, and George Washington, of course, and you guessed it, our beloved raping colonizer Christopher Columbus. So the supporters of this whole act literally started a campaign to get him his holiday, and most people credit the success of the campaign with Stevie Wonder releasing the single Happy Birthday. Remember that song? Yeah, that was for this. It's news to a lot of people, but he released the song, and he hosted the Rally for Peace press conference, and he got 6 million signatures, which was called the largest petition for any issue in U.S. history. So then there were two senators from North Carolina who said that he didn't deserve his own holiday and that he was associated with communists. One of them even gave a 300-page essay to the Senate to prove that he was in allegiance with communists. And there was a senator from New York who actually threw it on the ground and called it a packet of filth and stomped it out. And even though Reagan didn't originally support the whole idea of it being a holiday, he did sign it into law. But that's actually not where it ends. It wasn't actually until the year 2000, when I graduated from high school, that all states in America had recognized that day as a paid holiday for all state employees. What they opted to do instead, I'm glad you asked, some states allowed the employees to choose between celebrating Martin Luther King Jr. Day or celebrating one of 3 Confederate holidays. Yes, it's what they were doing. It's what they're still. And in North Carolina, employees were allowed to choose between celebrating their own birthday as a paid holiday or Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And it's important to note that we still live in a situation where this is happening. In Alabama, it's officially recognized as Robert E. Lee / Martin Luther King Day. Robert E. Lee, yes, you guessed it, the losing side of the Civil War. In Arkansas, up until 2017, it was known as Martin Luther King Jr. Day and Robert E. Lee's birthday. After 2017, they changed it and they elected to move Robert E. Lee's commemoration day to October. So yes, he still gets his holiday, but now it's not the same day as Martin Luther King Jr. Day. In Mississippi, it's also known as Martin Luther King and Robert E. Lee's birthday. And in Virginia, it's known as Lee Jackson King Day, or it was up until the year 2000. That's not even in alphabetical order, because if you were going to do it in alphabetical order, neither here nor there. All I'm saying is that they were pressed. Some states voted for an all lives matter type of approach when it came to naming the holiday, like Arizona and New Hampshire, that call it Civil Rights Day, as well as Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And in Idaho, it's called Idaho Human Rights Day. And in Wyoming, it's known as Wyoming Equality Day. Um, I can't even begin to. That's neither here nor there. But it's important to know that it's also designated as an official national day of service. The only other official national day of service we have is 9/11 Day. You remember 9/11. Um, Other countries even have celebrated Martin Luther King Jr. Day. The Netherlands holds a Martin Luther King tribute and dinner every single year where they actually end the night holding hands and singing "We Will Overcome." Like, I'm told it's fabulous. They have music, celebrations, they've got Civil War vets and young people just to pretty much pass on peace to every generation and to revel in the celebration of this man's life. So that's what we should be doing here today, is recognizing this day as a national service day, to serve your fellow man and try to revel in the idea that even though this is, like, 30 years later, that we are now on some kind of understanding on what we should be celebrating in America, which is equality and peace. Um, Regardless of how you felt about Martin Luther King Jr. with his personal life, which I believe doesn't really matter, or the things that he did, which a lot of people go back and forth between, not really respecting the whole nonviolent issue, which I have my own mixed feelings about, but we cannot we cannot take away from this man the fact that he did spend his life working for the cause. So, happy birthday, Martin Luther King Jr. Sorry you were assassinated in service of your fellow man. And I hope to one day be able to make the type of impact you did. Although I know I never will, but it doesn't stop me from trying.